All right. Good evening. Wow, it seems weird. The summer's almost already gone. And we all go back to school soon. Okay. All right, I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. We're going to start with our public hearing. It is Wednesday, July 8th. It's 6:31. Lisa, can you call to order? Or roll call?
Patty Coutray,
Present.
Carolyn Lopez, Lisa Garcia,
Here.
Ben Owens,
Present.
Shante Rothschild.
Present.
All right, great. So we are having our public hearing on the adoption of the fiscal year 26-27 expenditure budget and truth in taxation pursuant to ARS 38431 and ARS 15-905. Notice is hereby given to the members of the governing board and to the general public that the governing board will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, July 8th at 6:30 p.m. in the boardroom at the Maricopa Unified School District office regarding the adoption of the budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027 in truth and taxation. So, Mr. Harmon, welcome.
All right, good evening, President Coutray, members of the Governing Board, and Dr. Lohman. The purpose of this presentation is to review the highlights of the fiscal year 26-27 budget. We are adopting the budget on preliminary forms due to the late approval of the state budget. Some items approved in the state budget are not included in these forms and will require a budget revision. Those items are the one-time add-ons listed on this slide. We plan to revise to the final forms in September. Some highlights captured in the adopted budget include the base level per weighted student increasing to $5,215.53, $960,000 in additional funding for having teachers with experience greater than the state average, and the classroom site fund increasing from $842 to $883 per student. Some further highlights and celebrations of the budget is we continue to invest in site-based leadership and decision-making through multiple funding sources. Included in the budget is maintaining current benefits without increasing employee costs for medical insurance, provides a 3% salary increase for all staff, increases the teacher base rate from $56,000 to $57,000, and includes $3 million of additional staffing, $700,000 in ESS staffing, $501,000 in Tier 3 student behavior management, and increases investments in teacher professional development by $250,000. The proposed general budget limit for M&O is $90.6 million, an increase of nearly $2.8 million. A review of our available funds and expenditure plan for operations discussed at board meetings over the last few months. We have about $120,000 plus our $900,000 in staffing contingency to begin next school year and evaluate our actual enrollment. Here's a review of our capital budget and expenditure plan shared at the April board meeting. The per pupil increase for classroom site fund from $842 to $883 generates about $10.1 million. We add any unspent carry forward and interest earned from the prior year, and our budget limit is $17.5 million, with a total expenditure plan of $9.9 million toward teacher salaries. We should end next fiscal year with around $7.5 million in reserve for carry forward. This budget includes a levy of adjacent ways to cover the proposed expenditure plan. On the expenditure plan is our Farrell Road construction estimate of $14.5 million, the MSIDD canal estimated at $10 million, $500,000 for parking lot projects throughout the district, which gives a $25 million budget need. We have an estimated ending balance of just over $20.6 million, which requires a levy of $4,359,885. The summary slide reviews the budget limits in our proposed and adopted budget. The combined budget limits of these four funds is nearly $139 million. When the board approved the proposed budget on June 10th, we posted the notice of tonight's public hearing and truth and taxation for the budget adoption and adjacent ways levy on our website and in the newspaper as required by statute. This table is the total estimated tax rates in the budget, the highlights. Our total primary tax rate is decreasing by 40 cents. The total secondary tax rate is decreasing by 8 cents. Our unofficial bond tax rate is relatively flat, staying under 80 cents as committed. Overall, the district's tax rates are decreasing by 48 cents, which means next year each homeowner will see a reduction in taxes of approximately $48.22 per $100,000 of limited home value. That concludes my presentation. Happy to take any questions that the board have or the public has.
Board, any questions for Mr. Harmon? No? All right, at this time, we'll open it up. If there's any public comments, you can please come up to the podium, state your name, and ask your question. Don't all jump up. All right, seeing none, we're gonna close this, and I'd like to have a motion that we adjourn the public hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and adjourn. Motion a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, our public hearing is now closed, and we're going to open our board meeting, and we're going to call order at 6:37. Lisa, roll call, please.
Patty Cotray,
Present.
Carolyn Lopez, Lisa Garcia,
Here.
Ben Owens,
Present.
Shante Rothschild.
Present.
All right. Member Garcia, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. We are to adoption of the agenda. Do I have any motions or amendments?
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Lutman.
Thank you, President Cotray. School may be out for summer, but our teachers are back in the classroom for professional development. More than 55 teachers were trained in Kagan Cooperative Learning, gaining new tools to build engagement and collaboration in their classrooms. Another 22 completed Spalding Reading Foundations, 11 finished Spalding Effective Strategies for Writing and Reading, and 12 attended the Summer Literacy Endorsement Boot Camp, deepening their expertise in evidence-based literacy instruction. Giving up pool days for PD says everything about who our teachers are. When the first bell rings, that work will show up in sharper lessons, stronger readers, and classrooms across MUSD for whatever the new year brings. Just in from HR, and the news is good. MUSD stands at 12.5 teacher vacancies and 22 open positions across the district. That is slightly above the 10 we reported last July. Considering the 25 foreign national teachers who returned home this year when their visas expired, our team has held the line. Here's what I'm most proud to share. On July 20, MUSD welcomes more than 120 new educators, approximately 110 teachers, along with 13 certified staff. They arrive with fresh lanyards, empty bulletin boards, and a few first day nerves of their own, ready to greet the students who will make those classrooms their own. In the 26-27 school year is going to be a good one. I can just feel it. Summer school is a wrap, and 228 MUSD students made it count. Together, they completed 313 courses through a hybrid model that let them log in from home or come in person, whatever fit their summer. That flexibility made a real difference for high school students working to recover credits and stay on track for graduation. A big thanks to our summer school administrative team who kept the whole operation organized, supportive, and running smoothly from day one. Because of them, 228 students walked away with progress in their pockets and a little more room to breathe heading into the fall. Construction is underway pardon me, I skipped something there. Big things are taking shape on 3 MUSD elementary campuses this summer. Demolition and installation kicked off this week at Santa Cruz Elementary and Maricopa Elementary and Santa Rosa Elementary in the coming weeks. By the time students walk back onto campus, they will find brand new playgrounds waiting for them. These spaces are built for the good stuff, running, climbing, laughing, and making new friends before the bell even rings. Investments like these are part of who MUSD is. Campuses, our students, families, and community can be proud to call their own. And that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Lotman. Governing Board member reports. Member Rothschild.
Good evening, everyone. Mine will be quick. First of all, I had the opportunity to participate in several Juneteenth local celebrations throughout Maricopa. These events celebrated our nation's history, but also highlighted the importance of education, civic engagement, and bringing our communities together. I'll just close by saying, looking forward to the many events that we will either be hosting or participating in the district, to include the ribbon cutting ceremony of the Alma Farrell Academy. So that is all for me.
Thank you. Member Owens.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Member Garcia.
Nothing this evening, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Haven't really had a lot of school activities, because we've been on summer break. But a huge thank you to MUSD and the Food and Nutrition and the Transportation Department. They have been tremendous partners with the Boys and Girls Club by providing transportation and meals. And our kids have had an amazing summer. Over 80 kids average were attending, and it was just, we still have one more week to go, and they're really counting that down. So thank you for being such a wonderful partner. I've attended a lot of the around local candidate forums and political meet and greets, and so that's been my summer, busy. Congratulations to Member Garcia and myself, and we do have another candidates in the audience tonight, Latrinda, for turning in signatures. So we're going to have an election in November. We've got 5 candidates running for the 2 member seats, and I'm really excited for that. I think this is one of the most interest that we've had for a governing board election, and I'm excited for it. And with that, I look forward to the leadership retreat that we have this week, and our welcome back and our ribbon cutting for Alma Farrell. So summer's over, folks. It's time to work. All right, and we're going to move on to our information. We have one information item, Grow Your Own. Tracy Pastor, Dr. Tracy Pastor, congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, President Coutre, Dr. Lotman, members of the board, and guests. So tonight I am pleased to bring you an information item on one of the exciting initiatives coming out of Human Resources launching this year, the Teacher Apprentice Program. Maricopa Unified has been approved by the Arizona Department of Education to launch this program through AZ-TRAP, which stands for the Arizona Teacher Registered Apprenticeship Program, and it's in partnership with the Central Arizona College. So I want to start by grounding this in our strategic plan. Under Goal 3, our strategy is 100% of our staff are appropriately certified. However, like every district in Arizona, we face a persistent shortage of certified teachers, especially in special area and certain core content areas. We will continue to successfully compete with other districts, but we will also focus on our many Grow Our Own programs. And this program is a direct strategy to move us more towards that goal of 100% appropriately certified. I also want to talk about how this supports all 5 of our Portrait of a Graduate attributes. These apprentices will live the attributes every day by being very visible role models in our classrooms. And I also want to start to point out something significant. The apprentice teacher job description, which was an additional part of the personnel schedule, is the first in our district that explicitly states that an employee is expected to embody these attributes, and it spells out how. So moving forward, every job description will be, when revised, will include the portrait of a graduate attributes. We're making the portrait of a graduate a standard for our staff, not just an aspiration for our students. So what is AZ Trap? It's a state-registered apprenticeship, the same model used for generation in other trades, now applied to teaching. So apprentices earn while they learn, combining full-time paid on-the-job training with their college coursework. Our partner, Central Arizona College. Through this partnership, the apprentices will earn a bachelor's degree and a full Arizona teaching certificate K-8. The program will take 2 to 4 years, and that will depend on if the apprentice is entering with some credits, perhaps under their belt. Again, I want to emphasize this is no cost to the apprentice, no tuition bill, no student debt. They're paid employees the entire time, working under the mentorship of their classroom certified teacher. So this is why we call it Grow Our Own. It's targeting our critical shortage areas. Apprentices will be developing in those critical shortage areas where we find the most struggle in hiring, but also it's focusing on growing talent that's aligned to MUSD. These are people who've chosen Maricopa, who model our portrait of a graduate and who understand our community. Whoops. So I skipped quite a few here. Program structure and budget. The apprentices are hired as classified employees at level 14. So this is a requirement of the grant. And they do also need to, in order to be in compliance with this special program, work 40 hours a week. So for the 26-27 year, we are proposing 2 FTE, and this is deliberate to start with a very small cohort so we can build the program right. The coursework and the program costs are expected to be covered by grant funds from ADE. The grant is not yet in final approval stage, but anticipated to be so next week. ADE's acquiring these grant funds, and this $10,000 per apprentice, the breakdown is as follows. So $3,000 is paying for the CAC tuition and materials. The stipend is to the teacher, who in this particular program is called a journey worker. So the journey worker is compensated for their time and expertise. And then an apprentice allowance is an allowance for the apprentice to put towards things such as mileage, childcare, work attire, exam fees, supplies, things that they need in order to be a student. So our next steps, the intergovernmental agreement between the Arizona Department of Education, MUSD, and Central Arizona College is in process. I'll be returning to the board at a later date to bring that IGA forward for your approval. The apprentices are expected to start later this fall of 2026. And so in order to get apprentices selected and ensure they're enrolled in their classes in time, you do see that the job description and the request for approval for the positions on the personnel schedule this evening. Recruitment will start immediately upon approval. And then once we're up and running, there will be quarterly check-ins with each apprentice, each journey worker, and principal, and we'll be reporting on an ongoing basis to ADE, both through virtual meetings and then some mandatory reports that are a part of the program. If anyone is looking to learn more about this program or any of our Grow Our Own program. Natalie Montano is here this evening, and she is an expert in this program and others, and anyone on my team would be happy to help classified. It is going to be selective with only 2 apprentices being selected. However, we have other Grow Your Own, and there are other opportunities for classified who are working towards degrees. And I open it up to any questions you might have.
Board members, questions?
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
Where and how are you recruiting your individuals? Is it by flyer? Is it by word of mouth? Is it social media? Is it just internal? Where can they find out about this?
Great question. And so upon approval, the job descriptions are ready to go up as a posting. So this is a position that they apply for. We do know that we have some paraprofessionals who are an ideal fit to apply because they're current CAC students who are working towards education profession. So principals are going to help with word of mouth, and I do not anticipate that there will be a lack of applicants.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments?
Just want to say how exciting this is. Just another example of how successful partnerships with local organizations can help build our community and create opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pastor. All right. We do have 2 call to the public, so I need to read this. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38431, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for a future agenda. The board requests that all comments be limited to 3 minutes or less, and that the public refrain from the use of speech or language that is offensive or inappropriate, pursuant to Board Procedure 3-203. And our first speaker is Annette Walker.
Good evening. My name is Annette Walker, and I am the founder and president of a new nonprofit in Arizona called Advocate Monster Truck. So we are a nonprofit that is dedicated to protecting children and supporting survivors of domestic violence and helping families build a safer future in family court. Every day I work with adults whose lives have been changed by abuse, violence, and trauma. One thing I hear over and over is that many of these painful journeys didn't begin in adulthood, they began in childhood. And they began with bullying. Too often, bullying is dismissed as kids being kids, but the research tells us otherwise. In Arizona, approximately 1 in 5 high school students reportedly being bullied on school property each year. One of the most respected long-term studies found that 60% of boys who were identified as frequent bullies in grades 6 through 9 had at least 1 criminal conviction by age 24. These aren't just statistics, they're warning signs. As someone who works with survivors of domestic violence, I often wonder how many lives could have been different if someone had recognized these warning signs sooner. Bullies are not born, they're made through experiences, environments, unmet needs, learned behaviors, or trauma. I'm a survivor myself, so I can speak with authenticity on the topic. This doesn't excuse bullying, it just means that we have a responsibility to address it. And I'm here today to introduce myself, and hopefully when we get these programs developed, we would love to be a resource for you to help with this epidemic of bullying, because we know that your staffs are maxed out with time, resources, energy, education on what to do with kids that are being bullied, and in fact the actual kids that are the bullies, because most likely something's happening at home. So I have my cards I can give you and whatnot, and then I will be coming back to visit to give you updates on where we're at with our programs, and I would love any feedback on how we can be a solution for this epidemic, because you guys know firsthand what's going on in your schools, and so you have the information we need to help you. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next speaker, Ro Ferranda.
Hi. I think you know me by now. I've attended many board meetings. I've addressed this leadership. I've met with and made efforts with leadership on many issues. However, after years of requesting records, there are still unresolved issues. On May 6th, I requested a new MET and subsequent report, and at the direction of the sitting superintendent and per the ESS director, the ADE guidelines give them 15 days, I was told July 29th, when in fact, per the ADE guidelines 34 CFR 300, summer and other breaks are not a factor. This includes reevaluations, making our date May 27th. This is now well past and against AAC R7-2-401. Considering also the report I'm requesting remains out of compliance, lacking testing scores, updated observations, and the two reports that fill the timeline simply are cut and pasted from a private neuropsych report that I provided to the district dated October of 2021. No one at Saddleback cared anything to do anything about it, and no one in this leadership cares either at this point. At the May 13th board meeting, Dr. Lopman and I spoke hours prior before. She stated that she'd get back to me, and it's July 8th. I've heard nothing from you. At the same board meeting, I brought to the board the illegal actions of the district nurse who singles out my son not once but twice without my consent, changed his seizure action plan, putting my child in danger. After auditing records from the health office, it was clear to us that indeed staff was not seizure trained, therefore continuing to put my son in danger, all illegal per ARS 32-1601, SB 1654, ARS-1-601, and ARS-15-160-02, and his IEP, which is a legal binding document. Our stark reality is that no other school will accept my son in person or online at this point because he's too far behind. He's not a fourth grader. You have unlawfully and brutally failed my son. So comprehensively, await his education opportunities, you also maintain employees who create an unsafe and out of compliance environment. I'm sick of attempting to work with serial sugar coaters, dealers of false hope, while this district slips to sending out mailers advertising past accomplishments as advertisements. It's all just smoke and mirrors.
You follow up? Thanks. Okay. All right. Consent agenda. Board members, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray.
Aye. All right. Moving on to our first action item, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule. Dr. Pastor. It's so hot.
Good evening again. So the personnel schedule has been provided. Along with that, you have the job description for that new position that was presented earlier. I'm sure you noticed the format is different. I do want to point out that all of the content is the same. So the information that was previously provided under all other personnel schedules. It has not changed, just the format.
Dr. Pastor, thank you. I love the new format.
Thank you.
It is so easy to read, and I like how we have separated the certified from the classified. Very, very helpful. Just one other clarification that also included in that is the stipend, and we had to add that because of the AZ track, correct?
Yes.
For that journey.
Yes.
And that's the only change to that, correct?
That's the only change to that document was the journey worker stipend and the apprentice allowance, which are part of that program.
Okay. Board members, any questions?
Dr. Pastor, so I agree with President Coutre that I like the format as well, separating out the classified and certified. So you know the question I'm going to ask you. How are you feeling at this point? This is your first meeting as Director of HR, if I'm not mistaken, right?
This is correct.
All right, so going into the year, how are you feeling?
Well, I will start with earlier in the superintendent's report, Dr. Lotman shared that there's 12.5 teacher vacancies. Well, that's already outdated because now it's 11.5. That's how fast things move in HR. So I'm keeping up. It's very fluid, especially this time of year. And it's an exciting place to be. And today we welcomed a group of about 25 substitutes who are now MUSD employees, one of a series of orientations for them. So it's exciting.
Good deal. My other question has to do with the stipend schedule. So as I'm kind of looking through here, I'm not seeing that there's really much for assistant coaches on the schedule. Looks like varsity football has assistants. And that's about it. Obviously, we've got a lot of sports, right? I'm just kind of curious, and this predates you coming into this role. Is that something that we typically would pay assistant coaches? I'm around the pool all the time with daughters that have swam, and I've seen the time that the assistant coaches have put in, and it's apparently at a volunteer, not paid. So I'm just kind of curious on that, because sometimes they're running practices, same thing with, I'm assuming, basketball coaches or baseball coaches, that kind of thing. Are you able to speak to that at all?
Yes, you have a good timing. I was just talking to Matt Mayo, our AD, about this today, and we're in the process of working to make sure that we have a clear list of the coach and assistant coach positions available to the principals at both the middle school and the high school level. These things are dependent on participation. And so one year, a sport might have the assistant coach position and the coach position, and another, it may not be necessary based on the number of students and whatnot. But AIA gives us some guidance in this area, and we will continue to work to make sure that we have all of these positions when we need them.
Member Owens, it is listed under F.
Under F.
It is under F. It is all assistant coaches except varsity football. So
Oh,
they
yep,
receive
okay.
a stipend of $2,500.
Okay, I stand corrected. All right. That answers my questions then.
Okay.
If there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion to approve 9A.
Second.
Second.
All right, we'll give that to Shante since she's like, all right, Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray,
Aye. All right, next action item, discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 26-27 adopted budget. Mr. Harmon?
Thank you, President Gutray, members of the board, Dr. Loebman. This is the formality to officially approve the action item for our fiscal year 27 adopted budget. We presented the highlights, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Board members, any questions or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve 9B.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray,
Aye. Oh, you're up here for a while, Mr. Harmon. Okay, discussion and possible approval of the guaranteed maximum price for the Farrell Road Canal tiling project.
Thanks again, President Gutray, members of the board, and Dr. Loebman. This is for a guaranteed maximum price, number one, for the Farrell Road Canal tiling project for the MSIDD Canal. This is an early GMP to start some surveying for potholes and other preliminary items. This will, we typically do an early GMP for most of our projects, so this is no different than that. This will eventually be wrapped into the final GMP once we get further down the road.
So this will increase.
Yes, this is just the initial, the total estimated project cost is about $10 million. I believe this GMP is around 100 or so. I don't have the document in front of me. I think it's a little over $100,000, but that'll be swallowed up by the final GMP.
Okay. Board members, any questions for Mr. Harmon?
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Okay, thank you. Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cotray,
Aye. All right. Next, discussion and possible approval of the guaranteed maximum price, number 3, for the Maricopa High School Workforce Development and Gym Renovation Project.
Thanks again, President Gutray, members of the board. This is the final GMP number 3 for our Maricopa High School Workforce Development and Gym Renovation projects. The final scope was the gym renovation and the ed profession space. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Mr. Harmon, I did have a question on that. And looking at the one of the diagrams, it was utilization of a property on the other side of Taft.
So there was some early planning to potentially use a location on the other side of Taft for staging. They've since gone to a different location.
Okay, so that's not going to be where they're staging.
That is correct.
Okay, where will they be staging?
At the, is it the Community of Hope? What's the, it's Rusty Acres Church. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the
Community
name.
of Hope.
Yeah, Community
yes.
of Hope.
Okay,
Community of
thank
Hope.
you. It's there.
Okay.
The southern part of that property. They're
Right.
so gracious to work with us and CORE to have a space for us to stage.
And are we like renting that property then?
I don't know the details of the agreement, but there is a mutual agreement
Okay.
of some kind. So we can get some details on that and share that with the board.
Okay.
Great.
Board members, any other questions?
Is that agreement between us and Community of Hope, or is that between the contractor and the church?
That's a great question.
It's really a combination, but they're working directly with CORE on what that's going to be. Well, we'll share some details when we have that.
Okay. And that's just a laydown yard, right?
Yes.
Okay. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second.
Lisa, we have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cutray,
Aye. All right. Discussion and possible approval of the multiple vendor awards for RFQ 27-104-07, JOC for various trades. Mr. Harmon?
Thank you, President Coutray, members of the board. This RFQ was to try to procure more local vendors for different construction trades. We have the list there. We received some of the big players, but we also did receive some local contractors. We're doing some work with EPTA construction and other projects. So anytime we can procure more local contractors, it's a great thing. So we're seeking approval on this RFQ.
I love the fact that we can use some of our local vendors, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I'm assuming that some of these, like Chase and Core, for example, I know are part of a state contract.
Right, and so if we do a JOC within these limits, it'll fall under this RFQ instead of the other contracts that they might be on. It's not uncommon for them to be on multiple contracts, but when we do an RFQ of this scope, we will use this instead of other contracts.
Gotcha. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cutray,
Aye. Discussion and possible approval of the JOC contract and above threshold purchase to Chase Construction for the sand volleyball courts at Maricopa High School. Mr. Harmon?
I think this is my last one. Thanks again, President Coutray, members of the board. We have a few slides to share some information on the JOC project with Chase Building Team to install sand volleyball at Maricopa High School. Due to the city removing sand volleyball courts, the only option for us to continue offering this sport to our students is to install our own courts. Maricopa High School campus is very tight and also impacted by water drainage areas. We evaluated the 3 sites shown here on this map as potential options, working with MHS and district leadership along with our architect, Don Brubaker. The only viable solution was up by the football field. This location is flat, elevated, so not impacted by water drainage restrictions and next to the required utilities. This is the current location of shot put, requiring our shot put to be relocated to the area used for discus, which is listed on this diagram, which is a viable move since throwing coaches and teams typically manage both events and are typically staggered anyway. And this setup is very common in many school districts to have both throwing areas in a similar area. The site is the perfect size for our planned 2 courts as shown here. We seek your approval to ensure that this project is completed in time for our fall season. Happy to answer any other questions you may have.
What's currently in this location?
If I go back here, you can see, so it is for shot put. And it's also not common to have 2 shot put rings. When we relocate that, we'll just have 1. But this area let's see if I get my pointer to work. This whole area is shot put, and that's where the 2 courts will go. So we'll relocate these 2 shot put areas right up here and have 2 courts there.
Yep, I got you. Yeah. There's no questions.
Oh, I do have one question.
Go ahead.
What is the cost of this?
A little over $310,000. That includes all of the equipment as well.
All the equipment? Okay. And we currently, we were renting the courts from the city of Maricopa.
That
We
is
were
correct.
renting 2 courts from them?
I would need to get clarity on that. I don't know if, yes, we were running 2 courts.
Okay, so 2 courts will be sufficient.
I mean, for now, the idea is that we will duplicate this at Desert Sunrise High School in the future when funding is available. But yes, this will at least mimic what we've had renting from the city of Maricopa.
And Desert Sunrise currently does not have
That is
sand
correct.
volleyball, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shante Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cutray.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Harmon.
Thank you.
All right, our last action item is discussion and possible approval of governing board membership in the Arizona School Board Association. Well, I didn't get the cost, but, so we have always been, since I started on the board, members of the Arizona School Board Association. When things went a little wanky, we had decided as a board to step back from ASBA. That is when we did our policy revision. We went with the trust, which I am so grateful for because I really do like our policies. That was one of the services that ASBA also provided, was the policy updates. They would notify us when something needed to be changed. We have utilized their services for superintendent search, which I'm hoping we're not going to be doing anytime in the near future. And then we've also had the professional development, the workshops, and we've had ASBA come in and do some training with us as well. So there's various services that we have taken advantage of in the past. Member Rothschild and I had the opportunity to go to the summer leadership in Flagstaff, and it is like they have done almost like a 180, and they're back to where they were when I first started in the supports and the content that they are providing board members. One of the things that I think that we have lacked is our professional development as a board. We haven't had those opportunities since we left ASBA. We've done a couple of things. We did, a couple of presentations, but nothing like we used to do with ASBA. And some of this is also the networking that you get to have when you go to these conferences and workshops with other school board members throughout the state, and listening to what's going on in their districts. And sometimes it's very similar to what we're doing, and we have similar challenges, and we can take, some of what they've done and tweak it to what would fit ours. And it's a really good opportunity for us to network and grow as a board. I believe fully that, we expect professional development from our staff. We should also example that as well. Not just, we got to lead by example and show them. So that was one of the things that I'd asked Dr. Loatman to put on the agenda so that we could start the discussion. The one question I do have is what the cost would be.
If I may, can we ask Lisa to provide some
Absolutely.
information? Ms. Hahn?
So I got in touch with Ellen White of ASBA just before this meeting. She said beginning with the 26-27 fiscal year, policy service is now going to be incorporated into the cost of ASBA, whether you want it or not. So their yearly cost, starting with this fiscal year, is $18,286. They are offering us a 20% welcome back discount only for the fiscal year 26-27 year. After that, it'll go back up to approximately $18,000 a year.
Do we have to use their policy services?
We don't have to use it, but it's coming with the package. We can't ask not to have it.
Do
But
we
I wouldn't use it.
do we pay additional through the trust for the policy services that they provide?
If we do, it's nominal. It's included in the premium that we pay to the trust.
Gotcha.
Do we have an estimate of, because obviously the membership would provide a variety of things, training, oversight, helping us set policy, all of those things. But one thing that was called out was the professional development. So do we have an approximate cost of what it's cost us over this year for professional development?
There's considerable savings for members. It's about, members pay like a third of the cost for a conference. It would be like $1,000 for non-members, and then it would be around $300 for members.
Thank you.
So just doing the quick math on this, and I rounded numbers, okay? but with the 20% discount that, you know, Lisa mentioned, it would get it down to about 14,500. Again, I didn't pass Algebra 2 very well, so my numbers could be way off,
I
but
trust your numbers.
I don't, but,
Okay. But I guess at this point, I'd like to know, is this something that the board would like to be a part of again? You know, when we're looking at, you know, the advocacy part, the training part, facing, you know, education issues and leadership training. Is this all things that we would be able to take advantage of?
Madam Chair, Dr. Logan, is this already in the budget? I don't want to be taking away from, you know, crucial services or the students or the staff themselves. You know, if it's available to us, fine, but is this in the budget?
Yes, it would be considered under like board development or professional development. We definitely have capacity for it.
I am in favor, this is Shantae, I am in favor of us securing this membership. I say that from a couple different perspectives. One, having the opportunity to participate in the most recent leadership retreat, but even prior to sitting on the board, they offer a great amount of networking opportunity, support, just even advocacy training. So I know that there are some things that we could benefit from, that we could do without the membership that we've paid for on a, you know, case by case basis. But looking at what it provides, ultimately all of these things that we need to allow us to do our role as governing board members. And so while the cost it can sound absorbent. When you hear thousands of dollars, we also know the cost of education and what quality education and support and representation looks like. So if we have the funds, it definitely brings value. We stepped away for a reason, and those reasons no longer exist. So I am in favor of us resecuring that membership.
are you making a motion?
I move that we become members of the Arizona ASBS. Am I using the right acronyms?
ASBA.
ASBA.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Member Garcia, we can still discuss it before we vote.
I do have a question. Is that's an annual membership? It's not multi-year? And then this is something that we discuss yearly?
We could discuss it yearly. In the past, it has just been something that has been an automatic budget item. We can review it. We, as a board member, I don't think that that's a bad idea. If we choose to vote in favor of this, we can certainly come back next year and review what did we get out of it.
Exactly.
Was it beneficial? But the other part about this is you get out what you put in. So if you're not willing to participate in the webinars, the conferences, the training opportunities, the networking opportunities, if you don't participate in it, you're not going to get anything out of it. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to want to put the work in as well. Mm-hmm. And I think as board members, we've kind of not done a lot of that where I think we should have.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, and so noted, but for the record, should the board decide to go that route, I would like to review this every year, not just an automatic renewal. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
So then I can amend the motion if we're in favor of that to state that I move that we purchase a membership and from there review it on an annual basis.
Hang on a sec. That would mean you'd have to take away your second before she can revise her motion. You go with that?
I recant my second.
Okay. All right. So Shantae, can you restate your motion?
I move that we purchase the membership and review renewal each year going forward.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Lisa?
Shantae Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cutray.
Aye. All right. Looks like we're going to be members of ASB again. Our last item on the agenda, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Lisa, I have a motion and a second.
Shantae Rothschild,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye.
Lisa Garcia,
Aye.
Patty Cutray.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned 7:27.